Hello everyone, and today we're going to take a look at the GTX 970 and see how well it holds up in 2022. I feel like this graphics card, even though it came out in 2014, which was around 8 years ago, is a pretty underrated card. It still holds its own. And we're going to start off by looking at one of the games it's a game that just came out a couple of days ago. Let's go over here to Steam and take a look. The reason why we're taking a look at this is A, it's on Xbox Game Pass, so it was free for me to try out, and B, it's a very new game coming out on October 17th, which is only a couple days ago, and its minimum system requirement is, lo and behold, a GTX 970. This is a very odd system requirements because it's saying the GTX 970 will run at 30 FPS at 1080p. However, if you decide to go up to, a card that costs several $100s, like was it 3070 going for now? I know it is Canadian, but in US, 700, 800, $900, I'm not sure. And you're only supposed to get 60 FPS at 1080p. I think something might be a little wrong there. Anyway, let's jump in the game and see how this graphics card holds up in a brand new game that has the GTX 970 as the minimum system requirement to reach 30 FPS at 1080p. So starting off, 1080p, low settings. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no DLSS or anything like that in the game. So you're stuck with native resolution. Let's take a look at the performance. And on this scene right here, it's fluctuating between 25 and 30, which isn't bad. Like, it's low, but the gameplay is still pretty smooth. So far, everything I've noticed, it's not like a high-speed action game. You're pretty much just crawling around, trying to sneak around everybody. So after we get to the next save point, I will try upping the presets from low to medium, and that requires a restart. So that's why I want to hit the save point. Moving on to medium settings. We are getting the same resolution, or the same FPS. It's actually slightly higher, which is kind of odd. At 33, just a little bit higher. Maybe it has to do with the scene, because it is a different area of the game. But again, at medium settings, not too bad. And from what I've played so far, it's not a very action-filled game. It's more of a strategy game and sneaking around and trying to distract people while you sneak behind them. Not my kind of game. Yeah, as you can see, it's getting very playable. Average FPS lows, or I guess, yeah, the average is at 36, the 1% low is 26, and the 0.1% low is 19. Not bad. Okay, well, I guess this gives you a good idea of what you can play this game with the 970. Let's move on and look at the other games that I benchmark. So now we're going to take a look at some newer and older games, starting with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. As you can see, start off, everything's ran at 1080p. This one, yeah, even at high settings, you're getting a minimum 1% low of 30 FPS and an average of around 45. So even at high settings, the GTX 970 still runs this game very well. It's very playable at that settings, and as you move down to medium and low, you get much higher frame rates. And on to Cyberpunk 2077. It is starting to show its age with this game. This game came out probably about a year or so ago, and not really playable at high and medium settings. Medium, you can probably get away with, but you can get away 1080p low, 1% low frame rates, just over 25. We're looking at like 26, 27. But the the average is near 40, so not too bad on this game. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, this one came out several years ago, and again, even at high settings, you're getting a 1% low of around 45 and an average of 60. Very playable uh, at 1080p at any setting with this game. Moving on to Forza Horizon 5, another newer game, came out a year or so ago, not 100% sure. And even at high settings, you're getting pretty good FPS. You have a 1% low of over 40 and an average of 50, so quite good there. You definitely play at the high settings. And then Fortnite, we're getting into games where the higher FPS is going to make a difference because it's a first-person open-world shooter. You're going to need, you don't want any kind of stuttering. You want a fairly smooth FPS for this game. So around the medium settings, that's where you start to see pretty good FPS at your 1% lows and your average. As you can see, it's hitting around 80 FPS on the 1% low and around 140 at the average. So again, pretty good GPU to play even this game. I had also ran Warzone on low, and it was getting a 1% low of 60 and an average of 90. When I started stepping up beyond low, it was not playable at all. The moral, like as you're seeing the pattern, for some of the older games, still has really good frame rates. And by older, I mean this is a GPU that came out in 2014, and we're talking about games that were around 2018, 2017, so 3 or 4 years after the GPU came out. Still getting really good frame rates for the likes of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, and even Forza Horizon 5 is starting to struggle a little bit more when you get to really new games like Cyberpunk 2077 and the game we first looked at, A Plague Tale Requiem, which just came out a few days ago. But as you can tell, the GPU still holds its own. You can still play that newer game at 30 FPS, which, based on the type of game that it is, you can still manage to get by playing it and have a good experience at 30 FPS. Fortnite, Halo Infinite, or Warzone, you definitely can't play at 30 FPS, so you have to definitely sacrifice with those games and play at a lower graphic settings just so you can have higher FPS. But short of it, still holds its own. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you found this video entertaining or helpful, please like, subscribe to my channel. Thanks.